Is this thing on?
Bonnie, who used to be a former sex worker and now hosts the podcast Dumb Blonde.
Most little girls grow up wanting to be doctors and lawyers and shit. And I was like, I want to be super hot, make a lot of money, and be a rock star's wife. That was my goal as a child. And here we are.
What's up, guys? You guys are really loving this little fucking series that we're doing. So today it's just me and Mimi.
Hey, guys.
Hi, me. So everybody is loving you on the podcast.
I've come to find that out. I don't know. I just didn't think they knew enough about me to want me on here.
Oh,
But
everybody
all the
watches
comments,
you.
everyone's so nice to me.
I know. So
Seriously.
we might be making Mimi the trusty steed. We don't know yet though. We'll definitely, we're getting a new studio. So when you guys see the new set, then you'll know if she's coming on or not.
We'll do like a little reveal.
Yeah, for sure. Hold on one second. My husband's texting me. We're sexting right now.
Oh.
Well, today we are going to dive into one of Mimi's favorite serial killers,
I love him so much.
I'm reading this story and I'm just so sick to my stomach. And she said the craziest thing to me because she's like, I don't feel like he was a serial killer. And I'm like, this dude is, something's wrong with him.
He's a psychopath. He's my favorite psychopath. I don't believe he was a serial killer. No. He got off on the idea of death.
Right.
Not the idea of killing.
Right. And he only killed a couple of people, right?
It technically 3 people, and that's what makes you a serial killer.
Right.
3 people.
But he dug up the corpses.
Majority. Everyone else that he handled was already dead of natural causes.
Right. But to have compassion for a weirdo like this, it's going to be hard for me to find.
I feel like this is similar to the Eileen Moreno story that we covered.
she kind of, had a heart. At least she loved, girls and fucking only killed men. And completely different.
He loved them. They just weren't alive.
For those of you who don't know who we're talking about, we are talking about Ed Gein.
Ed Gein.
And he's pretty spicy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I got her roped in by telling her a very key part of this story, and she said, "Oh, we're doing it." So when you guys get to the part, I'm gonna tell you guys. But this was, and when I was in high school, I became obsessed with studying serial killers more for the psychological side of things. I wanted to know why these people chose to make these decisions in life. Mm-hmm. And Ed Gein happened to be one of them. And even in high school, I remember thinking to myself, like, I don't feel like he's a serial killer. I feel like he's a psychopath. He's one of the most iconic psychopaths of, history, but serial killer, no.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, we're going to let you guys decide for yourself. I don't think he's a serial killer either. I do agree with you on that, but I do feel like he's a few grapes short of a fruit salad, for sure. He's a few tacos short of a taco truck. Like this dude. And, it's crazy because his mom was so super religious. Mm-hmm. So I feel like those are the real weirdos, are the people whose parents, I'm one of them, who were super strict and super just like overbearing and like shoved religion down their throat. Mm-hmm. It's like a different fear that it creates in
and it's
these
all he
kids.
Knew. You know, like it's one if I had a child and as that child was being raised, if I told them that the color red was blue, that's the name of it, and they got older, they would know no different.
Right.
They would think the color red is named blue. Yeah. And I feel like in these incidents, that's exactly it. I feel like he knew no different.
Right.
He was almost like brainwashed.
For sure. Definitely brainwashed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with you on that.
You think they can see the hair on my legs from here? I just realized I didn't shave.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking right at you on the TV screen and it's all up front and personal. Listen, when you're married, you don't shave your legs. I shaved today for the first time just because I was like, you know what? It's almost winter. Maybe I should shave my Ewok.
And I'm just growing my winter coat out.
Yeah. I had to do it one last time. I was like, I just want to see what she looks like without hair. Just one last time. I forget. I miss her. I forget what she looks like without hair sometimes. Although I don't like hair. I'm very, my hair is not very hairy anyways.
You don't have hair at all. You don't even have hair on your eyebrows.
Being around my dad, I've realized he's not hairy.
No.
So that's why. Thank God. Because
my
mom was a
Really?
Oh yeah, she was a
That's funny
Furburger.
that you'd get the dad's genes in that. That's crazy. Normally, You get the mom's genes.
I have a lot of my dad's genes, actually.
You're so much like your dad.
Oh, it's crazy. We were over there. I swear we'll get to the murderer soon, but we were over there the other day, and my dad just when he's over something, he's over it, and I'm the same way.
Out.
Literally, I'm the same way. And I'm like, all right, I gotta go. Like, that's literally what I'll do. And that's what my dad will do. He'll be like, all right, well, it was really nice seeing you. And, come and see me tomorrow. I'll be like,
you just done.
I know. I'll be like, Billy, you just asked me to and sit here and show you something. And yeah, but I'm tired. We'll deal with that tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, well, see you later. But Kayla was like, dude, you are just like your dad. You make the same facial expressions. Like,
truly.
I have my dad's hand. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I have my mom's hands, my dad's feet, my dad's arms. Yeah. I was like, Dad, can you grow any muscles? Because I can't. No matter how hard I work out, my upper body just stays the same. He's like, nope, never could.
That's crazy. But this kind of ties into the story that we're talking about. Is like you get true qualities from your parents, even if you didn't spend a lifetime with these parents.
Yeah, for sure.
Truly, like you talked about DNA. Once you kind of reconnected with your mom, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, there was little things that she would do that you do, and like you guys weren't raised together though.
She showed me everything I didn't want to ever become.
But now that you're with your dad too, and having him so close again later on in life, you realize there's so many qualities we don't realize that we get from our parents.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm so glad I turned out more like my dad. I have my mom's anxiety, and I have her like nervous tics
things
and stuff
I feel like that were passed on genetically. Versus you have mannerisms of your father tremendously.
Yeah, and thank God, because my mom was white trash hillbilly, dude. She had no couth, dude. Rest in peace, Vanessa, but you're a fucking lunatic. She came on the Bailey Sky posted, or I'm sorry, I always call her Bailey Sky because that's her name on TikTok, but Amy Bale Sky, the psychic on TikTok, did a reading for Jay and I, and in that reading, my mom decides to come through. Nobody else from my side of the fucking world wants to come through. All of Jay's family members did, but here comes my mom, and the first thing she asks is me to take her ashes on the tour bus with her. She wanted to go on tour. And I was like, I'm never going to touch your ashes.
We're not
lady.
doing that.
Yeah. Like, I'm never going to touch your ashes. Not happening. But yeah, that's
when we're moving the other day, my mom comes out and she's like, I was like, what's wrong? She goes like, I just found grandma.
Oh.
She's like, can someone go get her, please?
Oh, I hate that, dude.
I didn't even know we had her.
That's how I'm so weird about ashes in our house. We keep
you
them
talked
at our
about
other
that,
houses. Yeah. Because I don't want them in our house because I have a crazy story about something that happened with me with ashes. So should I tell it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was waiting. Did you see me? I was like,
yeah. So I was living with my ex-boyfriend at the time, and this dude had lost his mom. And this is the craziest story ever, but this dude lost his mom, and we were having kind of like a get together, a barbecue or something, and he brings this urn with her ashes over to the barbecue. And I'm like, what the
does
happening?
That?
Like, who does that, right? But I mean, who are we to judge anybody's way of grieving or whatever? Well, everybody ends up getting smashed at this little house party, barbecue, whatever. And I wake up the next morning and this woman's ashes are in my kitchen. And I'm like,
he left
okay. And at this time, I didn't have quite a diversion to ashes, but this is why I do now, because those ashes sat on my counter for at least 2 weeks. And the dude, we kept calling him like, hey, come get your mom, come get your mom, come get your mom. Like, we don't want these ashes here. We want to make sure that you get them back. And he was just like, oh, just keep them there. Like just completely like blowing it off that his dead mother was in my kitchen. Well, for those 2 weeks, I kept getting the most severe headaches, and like it would start in my neck and like be in my head and my throat. I kept feeling like weird, like suffocation feelings. And like, I just felt like this woman died a violent death, and I could not figure it out. At first, I thought there was something wrong with me. I was like, what is going on? I'm fucking picking up on something. Like, what's happening? Because I've always been like really susceptible to anxiety and stuff like that. So I brushed that off. And then one day I was like, it's these ashes. Yeah. And I'm like, call him and ask him how his mom died. And so my ex calls him. My ex calls the dude, and he's like, my mom died a severely violent death. She died from domestic violence. Her boyfriend stabbed her in her neck and strangled her. And I'm like, this woman doesn't want to be in these ashes, dude. Like, she's screaming to be let out of these ashes. She doesn't want to be in this box, Yeah. I was like, do you want to sprinkle your mom's ashes anywhere? And he's like, no, you could just keep, pretty much. I don't know. We were partying back then. He might have just been a drug addict and
who knows if this is mom?
Right. We're like, I don't know who we ended up with. But anyways, so I took her ashes to the nearest graveyard. And in Vegas, there's a graveyard out there that has a lake in it. And I opened up her ashes and I spread them all over the lake. And I just kind of like said a prayer for her and just kind of released her into the earth again. And when I tell you the relief that was lifted off of my shoulders when these ashes were released, I didn't have a headache. My neck didn't hurt the next day, nothing. And I could feel her like thanking me. I could see a visual of like a woman just thanking me, and ever since then, I don't keep ashes in my house because I just don't. People are like, oh, well, they're just remains. There's no energy there.
No.
There's energy wherever people want their energy to go.
Exactly. Lauren taught us that. They will follow themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's my story of why I don't keep ashes in my house. If anybody else has any weird ashes stories, let me know.
Yeah, for reals. That's
Yeah.
so scary. And now that I want to think back, like knowing that grandma was in our house this whole time. Like, damn.
Grandma's probably peaceful though. She's probably happy where she's at and watching the kids grow up and stuff like that.
She's exactly that. We love Grandma Vera. We adore
I love
shit
the name
out of her.
Vera. I've always loved that name.
Grandma Vera, Vera Nicole. So Olivia is Olivia Sue Nicole. So for my mom and Nicole for Grandma Vera. But she was a beautiful woman. I loved Grandma Vera. She was very hard-headed. I'm talking very hard-headed.
We love a spicy grandma.
Man, she was like 5 foot and would kick anyone's ass.
That's how my Volvo was.
Yes.
4'11" and would beat my dad with brushes.
Literally, like her son backtalked her one time. Jason said they were driving down the road and she said something and he disagreed. She pulled over on the highway, said, "Get the fuck out of my car," and kicked Donnie out of the car.
Good. I love a spicy grandma.
Man. She was so, like, she lived in the hood too.
Aww.
Like in the hood, and she was so damn nosy. She would stand out there in her bathrobe smoking her cigarettes,
just
watching people deal drugs and stuff. She'd be like, "He's mother."
I love it. Moves to the hood, pissed off whenever drug deals are going down.
Exactly.
That's hilarious. All right, well, let's dive into this disgusting story.
Lower your mic just a little bit because I think it's covering your face.
No worries. Let's dive into this. Listen, if you're eating right now, do not fucking eat. I'm just going to give a disclaimer. If you're eating right now, which we're about to eat too, so I don't know how I'm about to do this, but if you're eating right now, hurry up and eat and then listen to this. Pause the
come back.
Yeah, come back because it gets really gross. And it's so, I don't know if you guys know the story
gory,
of Ed Gein. It's pretty
gore warning.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, like religious trauma warning.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
that, like, you already touched on that, but like, you gotta really touch on that. Like,
no, for sure. It brought some stuff up for me when I was reading the story. Yeah, I was just like, oh God, I could relate to that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so Ed Gein, the House of Horrors. He's also known as the Butcher of Plainfield or the Plainfield Ghoul.
So let me just say, my favorite movie in the whole wide world is House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yes.
I actually have a House of a Thousand Corpses tattoo.
House of a Thousand Corpses.
I love this movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, movies that were made after him were House of a Thousand Corpses,
Yep.
Silence of the Lambs, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes.
Those are all great movies.
Well, there was like a huge list of them too. So if you guys dive deep, there's like a big list of them. These were some of the main ones. But Otis, which is played by Rob Zombie, kind of, made some things.
Channeled him.
Yeah, channeled him. That's a great word. Channeled Ed Gein when creating that character. And when you guys are done listening to this story, go watch one of those and you will totally pick up on the little things. So when I was in high school learning about Ed Gein, it was cool because I was able to relate it to that House of a Thousand Corpses. Ed Gein.
House of a Thousand Corpses.
Corpses, sorry. I always say corpse. Ed Gein, Edward Theodore Gein, also called the Butcher of Plainfield, was born on August 27th, 1906.
They say that Virgos, Geminis, and Pisces are the main serial killer birth signs. Yes.
No way.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I wonder why. Do you think it's their temperament?
Pisces men are very violent, so yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
And very emotional, which makes them violent. Can be, not all of them. And then Virgo, I have a lot of Virgo placements, and I'm extremely just mean. So I could only imagine a Virgo man. Look at Cash.
Gash is a wild card, so yeah. I totally see that, man.
Yeah.
He
got
is
a little baby serial killer.
I love it. It's either Joe Dirt or a serial killer, so one of the two. He's a wild child, man. Like last night, he was not. I was like, you're a bad boy, because he like wouldn't. He kept like running and jumping off the bed and waking up his sister, and I was like, will you just lay down, please? And I was like, you're being a bad boy. And he looked at me, he was like, I'm being a good boy.
No.
I was like, please don't do that to me.
So Ed was born in August of 1906, and he lived until 1984. Like, this dude lived a long life.
Yeah.
Evil always lives long for some reason.
You lived into your 80s back in that day. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, that's nuts. How old was he? He was 82? About, what, 82? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Crazy.
Yeah, like, that's a long life to live. And you lived a crazy life at that.
And the he's seen, like, why would you want to be alive to see that?
Yeah. And like,
to reminisce about it.
That's so wild. Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Let's get into his childhood.
So he was born to a religious mother, Augusta Gein. He was Augusta's second-born child, following the birth of a baby boy, Henry George Gein, in January 1901.
I wonder if Henry was a Capricorn or an Aquarius. I wonder which one he was.
Ooh, let's look that up real fast.
Yeah, can you get like a real date on him? Because that would I was reading the story, and we'll get into it later on, but that would explain why some things happened between the brothers.
Okay.
Because
January 17th.
Oh, okay. So he's right on the same cusp as me. He's a Capricornius. Yeah, he wasn't putting up with that shit.
No.
He was like, what the is wrong with you, Ed?
Yeah.
Yeah,
seriously.
like something's wrong with you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So the boy's father, George Gein, drank alcohol excessively and was unable to hold down a job for long periods of time. This infuriated Augusta, who harbored deep resentment towards her husband, but she never pursued a divorce due to her beliefs on the subject. Probably like religious beliefs, right?
Yes, absolutely.
As a result, Ed and his older brother Henry were raised within a temperamental household. I wonder if that means if that's a good wording for violent.
I really feel like those two probably endured a lot with their father, because they talk about how unhealthy the relationship was between the mother and the father. Back in that day, you have an alcoholic father, he's definitely beating the shit out of you.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, because child abuse wasn't a thing back then. They believed that you should beat your children back then.
Oh, for sure. My grandfather on my dad's side, raging alcoholic, and there was 5 children, and like to the point that he would break the kids' bones. Like, he beat the shit out of these children.
God.
So bad.
That's terrible. I could never do that to a child.
No one bats an eye back then. You know, my dad was born in the 40s. Like, that, they just kind of like, kids deserve to be beaten.
God.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
That's terrible. I understand a little swat on the butt every now and then, but to break a kid's bones.
Yeah, like hurting those children.
Like, that's crazy. I grew up in a very violent household, so we don't like, Bailey has never been spanked in her life. The child doesn't know what it's like to be spanked, but I understand, like, when you're raising a child, if you like swat them on the butt, like if they go to like touch a hot stove or something like that,
exactly. Or
but not
listen after the
full on and beat your child. Yeah.
Absolutely not.
No, I couldn't do that.
So Augusta rarely showed affection towards the 2 sons. She believed that they were condemned to be disappointments just like their father. Augusta would often preach to them from the Bible, and she instilled into them that the beliefs of alcohol in all women, except for herself, of course, were the pinnacles of immorality.
Immorality, for sure. She, it sounds to me like she was extremely narcissistic, and she probably had a God complex.
Oh, the fact that they only can like praise her as a woman. Like, God forbid should you find affection in any other woman but your mother.
Yeah.
Like, how did she expect them to like continue on their bloodline? Like,
I don't think she thought of that.
Yeah.
I think that's why I think she was narcissistic, because it was always just about her. And I think she felt so bad about the dad, because the dad probably didn't give her the attention she wanted. So she had these 2 boys and was just like, worship me.
Yeah. Do you think that she had some type of, I don't know, this is just how I feel, like psychotic tendencies?
Possibly.
That then, trickled into...
I'm sure the dad was beating on her too. So I'm sure the only thing that she could control was her 2 kids. She couldn't control the father. Yeah. So she, came up with, when you're in situations like that, you try to find other things that you can control because everything else is so out of control in your life.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
From early childhood, Ed developed a very close relationship with his mother. Strong beliefs about women considered as an instrument of the devil and a total aversion to any form of transgression became ingrained in him. So that means like anything sexual, he was not allowed to think or
touching
do or anything.
Yeah, outwardly speaking about other women and his thoughts.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine raising a little boy to hate women like that.
No.
That's so weird.
Like you're also telling someone a natural feeling that you have, you know, like a teen boy when he hit puberty. Imagine like how much trauma that was.
Oh, that's how religion is though, because I was raised the same way, that you're not supposed to talk about sex or, you know, till marriage and all that stuff.
Because like going through puberty and stuff, like that's literally a rush of hormones. And you're being told that you're bad for that. Like, and it's such a natural thing to be happening within the body. Not saying that they should be acting on sexual things, but like, how do you control those and like open up about those feelings? And like, that's just insane.
Yeah, for sure.
Ed begins to exhibit signs of disordered sexuality. At the age of 10, he had an orgasm watching his parents slaughtering a pig. Once while he was masturbating in the bathroom, his mother saw him and in an outburst of anger grabbed his genitals and immersed him in boiling water. Ed was not allowed to think about sex. On the contrary, he must remain a virgin for life, like he promised his parents.
First of all, how do they know he had an orgasm watching this pig get slaughtered? Did he tell somebody about this?
Maybe in court, he opened up about his life story. And like, cause you know, I don't want to skip ahead, but like later on in life, he had to speak about these things, you know, so he had to confide in someone about that. And maybe, you know, who knows, but can you imagine like the thought on a child's brain that's what turns you on?
Guess what? I ordered the food to my house.
I'm gonna die.
Oh my God. I shouldn't be in charge of anything, dude.
We ordered food before this podcast started and we were going to eat and then we were going to start the podcast. And then as she's sitting there, she's like, man, our food is taking so long. This has been like 30 minutes since. And she goes, oh my God, I never ordered it.
Dude, I'm like having the hardest day ever today. My brain is like, I left my brain somewhere.
Order again.
Yeah.
Change the address once you go to check out.
I'm definitely gonna do that. I have to wait till he drops the order off to where I can order it again.
So he has orgasmed watching his parents slaughter a pig and then got caught masturbating.
Yeah, and then she puts his genitalia in boiling water. Like something was really wrong with her. I think maybe she might have gone through some sort of sexual abuse or something happened to her to where she's just passing this on to her children, because you don't get like that unless something happened to you.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
So she's just traumatizing him back. Yeah. You know, because she didn't.
I think there's a little touch of the psychotics in that bloodline.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, little tinge. Little tinge. Mm-hmm. During their upbringing, Ed and Henry were prohibited from spending any leisurely time away from the family's rural farming property in Plainfield, which meant their only physical escape was attending school. However, Augusta would discipline her sons if they attempted to make any friends at school, which significantly impeded their social interactions, and Ed in particular became a victim of bullying. The brothers only had each other for friendship throughout their childhoods. Instead of spending their spare time playing with other kids their age, they were confined to doing chores on the farm. And despite these restrictions, Ed continued to show unwavering love and admiration for his mother. However, Henry was not so accepting. Henry was like, no, this ain't it. Mm-hmm. That's how I was. I grew up in a really strict household, and I was like, F this. This isn't right.
So Ed has now developed like an obsession, you know.
I wonder if she sexually abused him.
It had to. I mean, she's grabbing him by the genitalia.
Yeah.
Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm wondering how old he was when this happened, you know? Like, how old were you when you're found masturbating? Because it said, you know, he's a little bit older. And like, you're just manhandling your children like that.
Yeah, like you
You
don't. I would feel weird grabbing a child's wiener, whether it's
Yeah.
my kid or not. You know,
That's weird.
Yeah, and putting
So-
it in boiling water. That's
Yeah.
evil.
Yeah, no. So you're right. She could have been, fucking around with him or something
Yeah,
that caused that sick obsession.
yeah,
And maybe Henry was just like, "Nah, fuck you. You're not going to touch me in those places."
yeah,
And yeah, so now going into teen adult life, in 1940, their father has now died suffering a heart attack. So in order to gain some additional family income, they took odd jobs as handymen for local residents. Ed and his brother managed to build a reputation as hardworking and trustworthy members of the community, which led Ed securing himself a babysitting work. You can believe
God.
that. He enjoyed it because he liked being around children more than he did adults. It had been pointed out that his preference may have been due to a lack of social development early in life. So he kind of had that, what was it, the Michael Jackson effect?
Yeah.
Like something was stripped away from him as a child, and he was doing anything he could to
hold on to that childhood,
exactly,
or try to create a childhood.
Yes.
That's so crazy that you have this guy watching your kids and you don't even realize how fucked up he is in his head.
Could you imagine later on when like this
Yeah,
story came to light?
and you're like, that dude used to babysit me.
Yeah.
God,
Or
that
the
would be
parents who
terrible.
left the kids with him. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Henry rejected his mother's ideals and expressed his concern with how attached Ed was to their mother. Henry began to openly criticize their mother, which pissed off Ed. And we don't want to piss off Ed. No. So in May of 1944, a fire broke out close to the family home, and both brothers went out to tackle it. The fire was extinguished, but Ed claimed to have become separated from his brother during. He contacted the police and reported Henry's disappearance, but when the authorities arrived, Ed was suspiciously able to lead them directly to his brother's body. Although Henry had not been burnt by the fire and his head showed signs of bruising consistent with being struck, police ruled out murder, and the cause of death was noted as asphyxiation. So look, what it sounds to me like what happened was Ed was trying to kill his brother and the brother was fighting back.
Yes, exactly.
But Ed's a fucking psychopath and won.
I read somewhere that they believe that it was like trauma from like a rock or a very hard solid object.
Yeah.
So either you beat the shit out of him uncontrollably, but why did the examiners and stuff not look into this subject a little bit further?
This was like 1940, right? 1940. So they probably didn't
we're in
have
like
any
1944 at this point.
So they probably didn't have like DNA. They probably they
It was
probably
just
knew
more
the
of, like-
family was already weird.
Yeah,
They were
true.
probably like,
They had to have, it's a small town. It had to
Yeah.
have like a reputation or something within the town.
yeah,
Of
absolutely.
those two, but
sure.
like, it was that considered one of the deaths that he killed them? Like, did that?
It probably gave him his first taste of blood. So that's probably what triggered it. And he was like, oh, if I can get away with this, what else can I get away with?
True. So
And it gets
that's
weirder, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah,
Like this
this is
is
just
mild.
very tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
1 year after Henry's death, Augusta suffered a stroke, and her health began to deteriorate. She spent most of her time confined to a bed and acted more erratical than ever. Ed served as her only carer. Ed served as her only carer, but was also the sole victim of her vicious mood swings. In a continued cycle of psychological and emotional abuse, Augusta would compare her son to his useless father, but would then contrastingly show a softer maternal side and allow Ed to sleep in her bed.
That's weird. They were definitely doing something.
She was touching him.
Yeah, something's going on.
Yeah, you don't
Definitely
just snuggle.
snuggling or like, something that's probably just crossing the line.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, that's so weird and creepy and like borderline just ew.
Ed continued living with his mother until she died in 1945, following multiple strokes, leaving him devastated. Gein had spent 39 years under his mother's roof and lived to serve her every need, and suddenly she was gone, leaving him on his own for the first time in his life.
He now lost his brother.
Well,
and
he
mom.
killed his brother.
Yeah, well, within a year.
Yeah.
So you have nobody. And like the dad passed away in the 1940s.
Yeah.
So this is honestly just a 5-year gap. He lost his whole family.
That, and he just doesn't know how to bond with anybody else. So he doesn't have friends. He has no one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Augusta had spent years embedding into her boys that feelings of sex and lust were absolutely immoral and to be avoided at all costs. Ed's only compassion until adulthood was from his mother. So that's just, to me, this is where my empath sets in of like the Eileen Wuornos.
Yeah.
He really didn't know any different.
Right. And I understand that.
And it just like, that's all he knew.
Yeah.
Was love from his mother. So he had no like social cues and such, which I feel like this plays a role later on in the story of just he didn't know how to control his emotions either, which I feel like is where the brother incident happened. I don't feel like he went out there with intentions of killing his brother, but I'm sure in a fit of rage that incident then came to light.
Yeah, for sure. You can read the next one.
His mother's death was the tipping point. Gein would later say, a force built up within me, in reference to losing his mother. He began visiting local cemeteries and digging up the bodies of deceased women with the intentions of creating a woman suit that he would then wear around. His aim was to physically recreate a version of his mother, later admitting to authorities that he wanted to become her and crawl into her skin. This was the leggings and torso found by
Schley.
The leggings and torso found by Schley and his team, and Ed Gein admitted to dancing in them in a cemetery on a full moon. It is...
Was he a witch? Like, what's happening, Ed?
It is getting weird now.
A warlock.
So he has now obsessed over the death of his mother that he wanted to become his mother.
Yeah.
And I feel like the idea of saying that he, like when he had openly admitted that he wanted to crawl into her skin is something she forced upon him to believe. Like she couldn't bring him close enough to her. That's weird.
And he's still a virgin right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, weird. 18 months after his mother's death and intense loneliness, Gein's visits to his mother's grave developed into nocturnal trips to Plainfield Cemetery and other nearby burial grounds with a pry bar. He dug up his mother and removed her head, which he took home to shrink, just as he had read about in his books. It was believed that the first woman Ed Gein took from her grave was his mother. Ed would carve out vaginas, anuses, and skin the breasts from the torso. The rest he would cut up for meat, except the face. Wait, he would cut up for meat? Is he eating them?
That was never brought to light, whether he ate them or not.
What's he cutting it up for meat, though?
Maybe he was eating them.
The rest he would cut up for meat except for the face. Ed painted his mother's vagina silver because hers was special. They were definitely doing something.
Oh, he wanted to remember that vagina.
Yeah, because hers was special. It was believed that he placed a bow on it as he hung it on his wall, proudly to be displayed. He would peel off the face or save the entire head to keep him company, and he would put lipstick on them. The way they would be dressed up for dinner. This way, they would be dressed up for dinner. Ed would use the skin to upholster chairs, decorative masks, and even had full body suits to wear. Ed would read the obituaries in the local paper and get them late at night just after they were buried. Fresh bodies. That way the dirt was softer and easier. Dude. So this dude went from loving his mom to digging up bodies because he's lonely.
Yeah. It was also said that he would cuddle the bodies.
Yeah.
And he liked the fresher ones because they were still warm.
Ugh. Do you think he would sleep with them?
They did ask him a couple times if he had any sexual anything with these bodies, and he has always claimed that he did not. But I don't think that's true.
I wonder if his wiener's okay though, because if his mom put it in boiling water, maybe
work.
Something was wrong with it. I don't know.
Shriveled nugget.
Maybe he was like asexual. I don't know.
Any night and outie?
I don't know. Belly button. I don't know.
He also crafted, he was an artsman, guys. He
Yeah.
also crafted body parts into household items, as well as pieces of clothing, such as a pair of gloves made from human flesh, a pair of lips attached to a window shade pull cord, and a belt made of nipples.
What did his house smell like?
Death.
All these bodies. Like, how are you just living around that?
That is crazy. I did tell Bunnie about the belt of nipples, and she's like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Let's cover this.
That, and when you told me about the pig, I was like, all right, he's a real weirdo. Let's dive into this.
Yeah, this has now developed into like an art form for him.
Yeah.
Essentially, his whole entire, and you know what's crazy is like it wasn't like a clean home that just had like a pair of lips hanging from the shades. He was a hoarder, so there was stacks of books everywhere. He did love to read. That was his escape. But there was just everywhere in this place. So it took a second, you know, for people to realize when they went in there, like, holy shit, this is what we're looking at. These chairs that this guy is sitting in are made out of skin.
They would also go on to find a collection of female genitalia, 4 chairs with woven cane seats replaced by tanned human skin, tattooed skin lampshades, and limbs and heads in boxes. Gein had made a tom-tom drum from a can covered top to bottom with stretched human skin, and a skin purse with a handle. He had cut an inverted skull in half to make a bowl and made an armchair with human arm bones. I mean, you gotta admit the dude's creative.
He's an artist of
He's an artiste.
Yeah. It did say when you read the tanned skin, he tanned the skin.
Oh.
So it wasn't that he was digging up people with tanned skin.
Yeah.
He was actually like doing things to the skin afterwards.
Leaving it outside to
Yep.
get a little suntan.
Mm-hmm.
What if he was laying out with these bodies? Like just chilling, putting them in bikinis and like...
I love that he dressed them up and put lipstick on them for his dinner parties.
That is so weird, dude.
Yeah. Skulls were fastened to the posts of Ed Gein's bed, and he had a human skin waste basket. The officers also found a pair of leggings fashioned from the skin of a human legs and a vest made of a woman's torso and breasts. So that's what he would wear around the house.
This is crazy. Mm-hmm. As well as grave digging, Gein also targeted the living and murdered... As well as grave digging, Gein also targeted the living and murdered 2 women named Mary Hogan and Bernice Worden. In 1954, a local tavern owner, Mary, was shot and killed by Gein, and he loaded her body onto a sled and dragged it home.
So this is where we fall into
the serial killer
thing. And that's where when I bring up the fact that I feel like he was just so socially awkward that he was put into incidences that he didn't know how to get himself out of. And that's where the rage came. So like he didn't know how to control himself or control his feelings and emotions and urges.
But I'm wondering why he killed these ladies. Like there's no reason.
Ed denied having sex with the bodies he assumed, explaining that they smelled too bad.
Ed, that's where you draw the line?
He's like, nah.
He's like, I'll chop their meat up. I will use them as a chair. I will fucking wear their bodies, but I'm not sticking my dick in that.
Gross.
And I mean, dudes will fuck anything. So that's pretty shocking, Ed.
He admitted killing Miss Worden, who was shot in the head with a .22 caliber rifle and then dragged outside to his car and transported back to the farmhouse. He confessed to the murder 3 years earlier of Plainfield innkeeper Mary Hogan, who had vanished in a mysterious circumstance.
Yeah, but he's not giving a reason why he did what he did.
Bernice Worden is the local like general store owner.
Yeah.
And he had made sexual advances towards her. And she denied him because she was married.
Oh, gotcha.
And in a fit of rage is when he lashed out, grabbed a gun, and shot her.
Wow. So he was trying to get his willy wet.
He was, yes.
Okay.
And from my understanding, that's what happened at the tavern also. So both of the incidences of the women that he did admit murdering were in ways that he was trying to make sexual advances towards them. They were not having it, one of them being married with like a whole ass family. And he didn't know how to take that denial.
Yeah.
In it.
Good Lord.
So in November 1957, Gein robbed Bernice at the nearby hardware store she owned and killed her. Bernice's son, a police deputy, grew suspicious of Gein, and a search of his remote farmhouse was carried out. So when he had murdered her, he drug her body out to the car, put her in there, and he wanted it to make it seem like a robbery.
Right.
So he went back in and actually took the money. So technically he did rob the store.
Right.
But that...
I wonder if did he really need the money, or was he just doing it?
I think he was literally just like, how can I get out of this?
Right.
And this is how I'm going to get out of it.
You can read the next one.
So while searching the property, investigators discovered horrific scenes. Organs were stored in the refrigerator. A heart sat atop above the kitchen stove, and skulls had been made into soup and cereal bowls. Bernice's body was also found inside of a shed. She had been suspended upside down, decapitated, disemboweled like a hunted animal. He was trying to replicate the feeling he had watching his parents slaughter that pig. So he would actually use these bowls from human skulls and eat his cereal soups and cooking utensils type things out of them.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
The thought alone is just so...
So like he wouldn't them, but let me eat out of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I won't stick my dick in you, but I'm going to eat your brains. Pretty much. I'm going to eat your head
I'm going to
out of your
scrape
head.
the remains.
Searching the house, authorities found 4 noses, whole human bones and fragments, 9 masks of human skin, bowls made from human skulls, 10 female heads with the tops sawed off, human skin covering several chair seats, Mary Hogan's head in a paper bag, Bernice Worden's head in a burlap sack, 9 vulvas in a shoebox. Okay, I gotta just pause right here. You just cut the vulvas off, like not the whole p, but you just cut the vulva. Mm-hmm. Like that is weird.
There had to been like that seems like his trophy.
Yeah. Skulls on his bedposts, organs in the refrigerator, a pair of lips on a drawstring for a window shade, a belt made from human female nipples, and a lampshade made from the skin from a human face. I swear I just got, when I was reading this entire list, you know that song, On the First Day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 noses sneezing. You know, like I literally just started singing that in my head. Like, there's so much that they found here.
So much.
This is crazy. Like, ugh, if you're eating right now, I'm sorry. I'm glad we don't have our food here. It's a reason that happened.
That's literally, but this. Oh, like I'm
tongue-tied.
I'm a little tongue-tied with this situation because, again, I kind of like I don't know. I have a little empathy.
I have none.
The guy was like literally
he's cutting vulvas off. I have none. I already have a disdain for men in general. So to know that he's just abusing women like this, I'm like, dude.
Crazy, bro. But I don't know. I don't believe the idea that he didn't have sexual advances towards them. I feel like there was definitely like
you don't cut a pussy off and hang a pussy on the wall if there's not something there.
For sure.
Yeah.
I wonder if someone ever did have sex with him later on in life. Like I wonder if he died a virgin or not.
I don't know. I can't believe nobody asked him that. I would have been the first person to be like, hey, Ed, did you actually get some puss, or was it living puss or only dead puss? Which one was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he didn't know how to connect
the fact
to people.
that his mother had frequently instilled into him that women are instruments of the devil and vessels of skin likely played a significant part in his choice of victims and the demeaning way in which he treated their bodies. So they feel like his rage and what he did was directly correlated to how his mother raised him.
Yeah, I mean, you think? The shit's fucking, he's got a few screws loose. This dude's weird, man.
Yeah.
I don't empathize with him at all.
So,
he gives me gross feelings.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like it's one of those situations that had he not been brought up that way, do you think he would ever done it?
I mean, you know, he seems like a wild card. His brother was brought up the same way and was fine.
Yeah.
You know, knew that shit was wrong. He had discernment. So I don't know. I think, you know, everybody chooses their own path, whether it be, you know, maybe he did get like some genetic shit from his parents, but you morally know what's right or wrong.
That's true. So that maybe that's where it falls into like the idea that he wasn't right in the head.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely something was going on.
Special needsy.
We're going to move on to conviction and sentencing. Although Gein was only charged with the murder of Bernice, he also confessed to the murder of Mary during questioning. It is believed he was also responsible for other deaths, although this has never been proven. After his arrest, Gein was diagnosed with schizophrenia, which resulted in him pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. He was consequently deemed unfit for trial and sent to the Central State Hospital for the Criminally Insane. He was later transferred to Mendota State Hospital in Madison, Wisconsin. After a decade, Gein's doctors declared him sane enough for trial, and within a week, he was found guilty of murder. However, as he was still considered legally insane, he remained in the hospital. While hospitalized, Gein proved himself to be a model patient and enjoyed reading, occupational therapy, and the radio. Up until his death in 1984, he was not known to display violent tendencies or cause any trouble with other patients or staff. Ed passed away from lung cancer.
What a model citizen.
What, so I guess in Silence of the Lambs, if you think about it, they portrayed him very calm and very but he was
Just getting to wear people's skin.
But he was a killer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy to me because again, once he got the help, and I'm sure they medicated him within the mental hospital and such, once he was given the help that his brain and the chemically unbalanced part of him needed, he was fine.
I wonder if the schizophrenia caused him to disassociate from reality. So him not knowing what was he really schizophrenic? Did they just do that so that he would just not get put to death?
I don't know. Like, who would have had his back in all this? I mean, there was so much evidence. I feel like it was like, nah, bro, you insane. Because you don't do those things and not be that chemically unwell.
Right. He
had to have been so far gone, and the isolation of it all didn't make it any better. So once he got that help that he needed and medicated, maybe that side of him really was just the schizophrenia. Like someone literally in his head being like, yo, go do those things.
Yeah.
His mother in his head saying,
yeah, possibly. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I feel fucking gross.
I'm hungry.
Oh my God. The thought of eating food right now grosses me out, dude.
I would just stick it in a skull and just eat
it. You're so gross. Well, what do you guys think about Ed Gein? Do you guys sympathize with him or not? Because I don't. Mimi does.
Do you guys think he's a serial killer? I don't.
I don't think he's a serial killer. I do agree with you on that, but I do think there's something.
He's a psychopath for sure.
Yeah, something's definitely wrong with him, but I don't think he should be considered a serial killer.
No, not at all. I don't. I feel like someone who would be within like the serial killer vibe would be someone who
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Sought out the death and the thrill of the kill. This guy was literally just mentally unwell.
Jeffrey Dahmer kind of seems like he might have idolized Gein a little bit.
Maybe he, knew about Gein or something.
Maybe he was Gein reincarnated.
Ooh,
you never know.
Dun, dun.
On that note, we're gonna go eat. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in to another episode, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.